Another Yossi night.
Just he's gonna add in, we'll see. 7,800, yeah, that's not too bad.
He's my highest owned guy, per usual. Right now, 5 hours away from lock.
I locked him in that night. He was like 8,400. He went absolutely bonkers.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the Awesemo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. We've got a nice little six-gamer on this Monday night. I'm joined by the GOAT, Josh Harris, coming off a hat trick pick. Matt Duchene. Josh, how you feeling? I'm hoping that you were rewarded monetarily for that.
I was, but I got to take the good with the bad. I said Duchene was my hat trick pick, but I also said Saros was my goalie, and he went for negative 7.7, so it kind of evened itself out a little bit there. But definitely got rewarded, especially in head-to-heads.
Okay, yeah. How's that been going? So I haven't been on a show obviously in a long time, but I watch you guys every day. So you're just in the cash game streets now, and
I'm doing
playing
both.
GPPs.
I'm doing both. So I do. I'll try to do the GPPs 295 and down, one lineup, and then I'll make a cash lineup, put in some single entry GPPs, list some head-to-heads. I appreciate everyone still scooping me, thinking I'm a fish. Maybe I am, but I appreciate the action.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're a fish. So maybe just seeing a new username and they just want to see if you are a fish or not. But keep winning games. Yeah, you're going to not have many opponents to play. Yes, we know the mics are hot. Just giving you guys a peek behind the scenes. Me talking Yossi, Josh talking about $8,400 Yossi. Just normal things. Just like we're on stream here.
Yeah, we don't come onto the show cold turkey. We actually talk about the show before we come on.
Yeah, we used to do that back in the day, when the site was just starting. Me and Josh Engelman all the time, but we're a little bit more organized these days. We've got a great producer, Mike, behind the scenes, and a bunch of people helping make good content for you guys. So it's nice to see you all. Cliffy will be back on Wednesday with Josh for the marathon slate. We were just talking about that. If you're used to coming here at 2 p.m. Eastern, we might be starting that show a little bit early because it's 14 games. So we want to make sure that, these guys have some breathing room. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Follow our Twitter accounts if you want to get updates on those types of things. What are you thinking about for this first look, first thoughts on this six-gamer, Josh? How much are you stacking tonight if you're making a GPP lineup? Is this a 4-3-1 slate, or are you more likely to pick a couple one-offs with it being only 6 games?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to force in 4-3-1 if I happen to get there. I'm not going to say no, but I really like this slate because the past week and a half we've had either 2 games or 12. There's no McDavid, who's going to be if McDavid was on the slate, he'd be 60% owned. So there's no McDavid, there's no Matthews. There's Colorado without McKinnon. So there's a lot of choices tonight. I think this is a very, very good MME slate. So if you're making 20, 150, this is a great slate. Even for one lineup, if you can get down to there 1 to 3, I really like this slate. Maybe it's just because this is the first medium-sized slate in 8 months, but I'm excited.
Yeah, super uneven schedule last week. Pretty uneven schedule. The rest of this week, we don't really get those 5 to 8 gamers outside of tonight. So it's nice getting different size slates, but would if we didn't get, the 12, 1, 13, 2, 3 Monday through Friday.
That's the last time until I think all of December is pretty even. So
okay.
The NHL will hit us with a 2, 14, 3, 13 in January, I think.
I'm already dreading the break for the Olympics because I am afraid we won't have any NHL DFS to play.
And the Olympic break is during NBA All-Star break. So we don't even get the NBA All-Star break GPP bump.
Yeah. So not to be too much of a pessimist here, but yeah, that's kind of brutal. So hopefully they can figure something out and give us some contests during that. I'm sure people are going to be feeding to play some DFS. And I don't know if I can handle a 3.5 week break, Josh. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe do some wedding planning or something. But
I know we're both getting married this summer, but like Cliffy's been pushing for, Olympic hockey, but he keeps saying like, how are you going to price Austin Matthews against, Team China? You know what I mean?
Could be a bit of a problem.
I don't know.
And I think, if they do have games like that, we'll have strategy for it. Like we'll figure something out projections wise, or just, maybe it would be more, we'll be more focused on like Slack and late news and stuff, but like just getting the line combos right for something like that might be the biggest thing. It might be some weird lock hours as well.
I don't even know where are they this year?
No clue, man. Pretty much nothing has like everything's just been a blur since March of 2020.
Anyone in chat knows where the Olympics are this year, let us know so we know what time zone we're working with.
Yeah, exactly. See, the chat is very active. Thank you all for joining today. I see a bunch of you have already liked the show. That is very appreciated. The best way you can help us out, though, is by subscribing to the show, to the channel, and to the show, and to the site. But we've got NFL every day, NBA, PGA, which is on a little bit of a break right now, just a 6-week layoff, and then they're coming back. College football, we're gonna have some college basketball stuff. We're gonna have obviously NHL every day, where there's more than a handful of games. And subscribing to the channel doesn't cost you a thing. In fact, it might help you out. You might get the notice that Jake and Josh are live, or Cliffy and Josh are live, more likely. And you can go right to the stream, troll us, do whatever you like. But the subscription.
They're telling us the Olympics are in China. So that's going to be that might actually be, if they're playing like 7:00 game. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what time it is in Vegas right now. I'm trying to figure out what time it is in China.
Yeah. I can barely get the time zones down in the US. So I always say Eastern though, whenever I'm talking to anybody at the company, because like no one's ever in the same spot. Even when I'm talking to like Nolan or Tom or Alex, like they're all central time zone guys. I find myself just like always referring to everything as Eastern. And then when I'm like texting my fiance or something, I'll catch myself writing in times and then in Eastern time. So it's just, that's what working at a remote company does for you guys. Yeah. I don't know if you ever do that too. Well, you're in the Eastern time zone. So
I'm in the Eastern. Yeah, I'm in New Jersey, the old armpit of the country. So like I'm on Eastern time. Cliffy's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. At least that's where my brain tells me. He's in Atlantic Canada. So it's like, it's 3:10 there. So
yeah,
my brain does not wrap around that he lives northeast of me and it's a different time. I can't wrap my head around it.
These time zones are tricky. Free premium tools for the day. If you guys don't know, we unlock a piece of premium content or premium tool each day for you guys to check out if you want to get a peek behind the paywall. NFL player rankings. If you're playing Showdown tonight, these are going to be for you. Speaking of Showdown, there's a really good deal we have going on. If you like Showdown NFL and you haven't subscribed to the site, you are really going to want to listen to what I've got to say in about 30 seconds. So Showdown rankings are free for today. NBA ownership projections. We've got a bunch of NBA content coming up after this show. And then NHL player rankings. You're watching an NHL show, so you guys might be pretty interested in those as well. All right. If you've read the description to the show, I don't know how many people do that, but if you haven't, we've got a pretty crazy deal going on for Black Friday, which is coming up this Friday. And the deal actually expires this Friday. This Friday. So you're going to want to take advantage very, very quickly. The promo code you need to remember, stuffing, Thanksgiving. I don't even like stuffing. Do you like stuffing?
No.
Yeah. Not my thing.
Not a fan of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think the food is all that great. I love the community of it. Like, pick up football, drink a little bit, and obviously gamble. We are a DFS betting site after all. But I do like this version of stuffing, Josh. Only $1 for the first week. You can get platinum. NFL Express Weekly, not platinum. We've done that one time and that broke the site. So NFL Express Weekly. You say Express, what's the difference? Well, Express is going to get you everything for Showdown for NFL. And so there's going to be 6 showdowns that you're going to get just for that first week. If you don't like the package, if you don't like the tools, you don't like the community, you don't like the Discord, that's fine. You can cancel whenever you'd like, but you're only putting up $1. You get player rankings, ownership rankings, You get, again, all of the NFL and showdown and single game contests to play on DK, FanDuel, or Yahoo. They've got a really good showdown format, a single game format over there as well. So it's an absolute must. If you're going to dabble in NFL showdown, you're going to want to use the tools at your disposal, and it's only $1. You can cancel whenever, but I think you guys are going to want to stick around.
Yeah. And if you play more than $1 a slate, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Yeah, absolute must. Yahoo also is the sponsor of the show. So if you guys haven't checked out Yahoo over there just yet, make sure you do so. I've been playing NHL on Yahoo every single day for the season. I think I've missed only one time so far. It's been my best site in terms of ROI. You can't get as much down over there for NHL. They've got some unreal NFL contests over there, like guaranteed overlay, like just stuff you don't see. They've got an everybody wins contest coming up, I saw this week as well. So if you haven't checked out Yahoo, now is the time to do so. Let's start with the slate. We've got, and I'm following the lineup builder. That's the order. If you guys want to check that out, it's just nhl.lineups.awesemo.com. Bookmark this page. It's very useful when I'm doing my research. I use it every single day, and obviously to go through the show.
Using it right now too.
Columbus Blue Jackets, Buffalo Sabres, 2.8 implied total for both sides here. Jonas Korpisalo and Dustin Tokarski is expected for the Sabres. Victor Olofsson expected to be back and back on the top line for the Sabres. Fully correlated top line, looking to get some ownership here. I don't know that this is the side that I want to target necessarily. I think we're probably going to have some interest in this Columbus top six. Josh, what do you like in this one?
Yeah. So, man, like I like the Buffalo top line in a vacuum, not when that vacuum is spitting out 16%. I know it's a 6 game where we're used to ownership on, like 10 gamers where like 7-8% is a little high, but I don't know if, stacking Buffalo top line is really going to be profitable long term. I mean, this team isn't great. This iteration of the line is pretty good, but what worries me is just it's Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, at the end of the day, this is still the Sabres. They have a 2.8 total at home. It's not like it's a 3.4 total and they're coming in at 12-13%. This is 2.8. They're close to 15%. It does worry me. And on the flip side, what worries me is like the Tage Thompson line is one of the only good defensive lines that they have, but they don't really hard match at home. I would imagine, Tage Thompson's going to see some of the general line a fair bit, and they're going to see a little bit of the cylinder line. So, that line, Tage Thompson, Olofsson, Skinner in almost 100 minutes, they're only allowing 4 high danger chances per 60 and expected goals of 1.5, which is really good. And they have a 55% shot share. So if I knew for sure that like Thompson would hard match the general line, I'd be way more interested in Sillinger, Voracek. Chances are Thompson sees, more of the Jenner Bjorkstrand line. So ideally, like for me, I will have some interest in Sillinger, Voracek. It's pretty cheap too, man. You want to throw in Chinakhov, that's fine. He's under 3K, so that's fine. And also, if you want to use Jenner Bjorkstrand in a power play stack, I have no issue. Like Bjorkstrand over 7,000, I think will scare some people off. But they've been playing very well together. I would imagine I don't have the special teams numbers in front of me, but I would imagine the Sabres penalty kill is middle pack at best. So I think, getting in some Jenner Bjorkstrand and Werenski for some power play is an expensive way to get a bit different on the slate. But for me, outside of Buffalo 1, I like them. The ownership worries me a bit. Not much else on Buffalo, and I do like the top 6 of Columbus.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be over on at least one of the Columbus top 6 lines, top 2 lines. The Sillinger, Voracek, Chinakhov line, I think is probably my favorite here. It's a little bit lower owned. It's not going to be unowned. I mean, it's a 6-game slate here. There's not a ton of options, but I do really like Columbus 2. Good numbers, not quite as good as Columbus 1. I am a little bit worried about just being like a neutral matchup for Columbus 1. And so assuming that the Thompson line sees a little more of the Jenner line, I'd rather go up against other much lesser lines. And I think Cylinder and Voracek are going to do that. So I like those guys as a two-man, both on top power play, but I also like the full stack. Really good shot rates for all three of those guys on Columbus too, which I like. I don't want, to play the scrubs, play the Johan Larsons of the world. These guys can all create some offense by themselves, all, relatively good threats for the bonuses and stuff like that. So I like Columbus too. Columbus 1, I think, is perfectly fine, but I think I get to a lot more Columbus 2 in this 6-gamer. Werenski 7,100. You said you liked him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the offense runs through him on the blue line. He sees a ton of minutes. Since Seth Jones left, his usage is up. I also like Jake Bean at 2,900. He sees a ton of minutes with Werenski. Yeah. I don't know why Carolina trading, Carolina made some head scratching moves in the offseason. Trading Jake Bean was one of them. For 2,900, getting the top pair of minutes is nice. So yeah, Werenski can go with either of the top 6, like you would do Cylinder, Voracek, Werenski, Boone Jenner, Bjorkstrand, Werenski. If you can fit him in, do it. I wouldn't force him in, but if you have the salary, big time go for me.
Yeah, I think I called Zach Werenski Mikey Anderson, or fancy Mikey Anderson 3 weeks ago. And since I said that, he's just been unbelievably good. Yeah, he had a 10 shot on goal game. He's taking a ton of shots. He's getting points. He's scoring goals. He's just been incredible. So the $7,100 price tag, I mean, 2 weeks ago, this looks terrible. This looks like an actual zero. Right now, that looks like a pretty fair price tonight. So I do not mind some Werenski. And it's nice because you get 2 guys in the top power play from either of the top 2 Columbus lines. I will say, if you're full stacking, this Columbus 3 line is actually a little bit interesting to me as well. No ownership. You're playing some expensive guys. You're trying to get the Yossi's and the Werenskis in of the world. Or you're trying to, pay. I guess there's not too much to pay up for tonight. But if you're trying to do some of the more expensive Winnipeg guys.
Colorado is very expensive.
What's that?
Colorado is very expensive.
Colorado, yeah, okay. That's the one spend up spot. But no Matthews, no McDavid. But if you are looking to get a cheap stack or a 2-man, I think Columbus 3 is a pretty good spot for that. Someone asked about Bryson as a punt, 2,500 here. We've got him projected for decent value, but he's just so cheap. So most of those guys are probably going to play close to 20 minutes. What are your thoughts on Bryson?
Yeah, I mean, Pissick, Bryson are the guy, they pop in the Awesemo projections if you're checking them out. I don't mind them. I prefer to find the 2,900 for Bean, but that's just a personal preference. If you like Pissick and Bryson and those guys, and you need a min-price guy, Bryson is completely fine.
Yeah, you guys are so nice producing the show for us in the chat. Doug's asking for goalie picks. We usually do goalies at the end, but since he asked, I noticed his name in here. Do you have any interest in one of these goalies, both priced at 7,700 on DK?
It's just hard for me to get behind Tokarski. I know he had a couple really good games. He got lit up really bad the last one. 7,700. For both goalies, I'd rather play Korpisalo, but I might look elsewhere for goalie. And I think Korpisalo is completely fine in correlated lineups.
Yep, I agree. And I think in general, any goalie as a correlation play is fine. I think Tokarski is probably going to see more volume, but I don't know. I'm not really bought into him. He's had a couple nice starts recently, but he could get peppered. And so for 7,700, you might be okay there if you wanted to one-off him. Let's go to Vegas and St. Louis. We got a 2.6 implied total for the Knights, 3 flat for the Blues. Robin Leonard expected to go against Jordan Binnington, your favorite goalie in the NHL. I heard you say something nice about him actually the other day.
Yeah, I think I'm getting soft. I gotta I don't know. I don't know what happened there. It was a weak moment for me.
Yeah. It might have been the Saturday morning show. We'll give you
that had to be it. The bang wasn't completely kicked in yet.
Yeah. Or the coffee, for sane people. Yeah. I don't know how you drink energy drinks that early in the morning, but here we are.
Well, I guess it's not that much different in a row to get some cavities filled.
All right. So we've got the same top six for the Blues that they ran out last time for the last couple of games. Robert Thomas kind of tripping me up here. Like, he projects so poorly, and he's almost a zero offensively, but he plays like 20 minutes a game.
He's
playing with two really, really good wingers. So, this being a 6-game slate, I am probably going to have some 3-2-1 lineups, 3-2-1s. I'm referring to the forwards there. So maybe like a Buchnevich and Tarasenko 2-man, and just leave Thomas off if he's going to be popular with those two. That's something I'm going to consider, because it does look to be a really good matchup for St. Louis too specifically. But how are you handling that situation?
So I think both of the Blues are in really good matchups. Like, O'Reilly's going to get Stevenson Stone, and that's fine. And you think, oh, those guys are good defensively. But like, without Pacioretty there and Dadonov in his place, it makes a big, big difference. So they have about a 50-minute sample, Stone, Stevenson, Dadonov. They have a 46% shot share, which isn't great. And they're giving up almost 20 high danger chances per 60. Like, they're a very high event line. So I think you can go to O'Reilly, Perron, Kyrou as well. Kyrou has come on very strong this season. The Buchnevich, Thomas, Tarasenko line is going to get Roy Janmark Smith, which is also very high event. So this is going to be a pretty high event game. I don't bet over unders too much in NHL, but this being a 5.5 right now seems like a easy over. I shouldn't say easy, because now everyone's going to go bet the over and it's going to be like 2-1 and I'm going to get absolutely annihilated on Twitter. But this seems like it should be a 6 total. I like both of the top 6. I prefer Buchnevich, Thomas, Tarasenko, which is personal preference. I have a hard time liking to play O'Reilly, Perron together just because they play so slow. But, that Stevenson Stone line has been super high event. So I like Kyrou with O'Reilly, Perron too. So personal preference, both are very viable. I personally like the second line a little bit better. On the Vegas side, Stevenson, Stone, Dadonov, fully correlated, over 10%, getting O'Reilly, Perron. I think, it's fine in MME to have a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to get there in 1 to 3. I don't know if there's going to be much from the the Vegas skaters that I'm going to get to. I think there's some stuff that I like on the blue line. Yeah. There's some stuff that I like on the blue line, but I think I'm going to be pretty under the field on the Knights tonight.
Yeah. So I think this is one of those situations where the Knights are coming up because at least the top line is coming up high in our ownership projections just because of their price. Like,
it's always like that. Vegas is always overowned.
Yeah. So value is just, Awesemo said it a ton of times. Value is just kind of overowned in these event sports, MLB and and NHL and NFL to some extent, depending on the position. But I think this is what you're seeing here and why Vegas 1 is over 10%, over 10% ownership right now. Cliffy says, tune in to hear Josh talk about the GOAT, Bobby Thomas. You love to see it. So Cliffy's getting his hair done right now. That's what Mondays are for.
Yeah.
As you guys know, been
got that Herman sitting all pretty in the chair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thomas. So just the majority of my St. Louis exposure is going to come through Tarasenko. So I think he's going to be one of my highest owned players. Definitely one of my highest owned forwards, if not my highest owned guy. So I'll do like I said, Tarasenko, Buchnevich, Tarasenko with Riley Perron. I think I'll have some Josh stacks for St. Louis as well as being a shorter slate. Yes. So I like the Blues here a lot. You mentioned without Pacioretty, they're just kind of not the same team. And definitely that top line is not the same line. The downgrade from Pacioretty to Dadonov defensively, like you can already see it in Vegas 1's numbers. So I think you can attack them. If you wanted to play Vegas 1, I get it. They're, if they score 3 or 4 goals here, they're probably going to do a bunch of damage, but I don't know. St. Louis looks pretty tough right now. Maybe you're just banking on a Binnington classic performance here in that he gives up 5 goals on 20 shots.
St. Louis 2 is $200 cheaper than Vegas 1. So I'd rather play St. Louis 2 99 out of 100 times in this matchup.
Yeah. And Robert Thomas's projection is bringing down the overall St. Louis 2 projection. for ownership and for just points.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to X him out or anything like that, just because he could get 3 assists if Tarasenko gets a hat trick or he has a great game like I'm expecting him
he's in
to.
that Kirby Doc mold. If he shot more, he'd be great.
Yeah. I do remember him scoring goals, like when he used to play on the third line with Sundqvist and someone else a couple of years ago. I remember him scoring a bunch of goals, and Cliffy would talk him up as like going to be like the next big thing. Maybe I'm putting words in Cliffy's mouth. I don't want to do that, but remember people being very impressed with his offensive game, but just has not shot at all this season. Any defenseman we need to worry about here? Krug 5,800. That's just an add-on for me.
Yeah.
Pietrangelo, man, all these guys priced way up. 7,600. Even if you're not playing Vegas, I think that Pietrangelo is still a very good one-off. Just going to see a ton of minutes. I don't think we're expecting Shea Theodore back in this one just yet. I think he's got another game or two to sit, and they're going to be careful with him. But anything else? Falk, Perunovic?
If Justin Falk isn't on the power play, he's the first guy I'm going into projections and Xing out. It's just what it is. He annoys me, especially when he ran the power play in Carolina. Like there was no more tilting player in DFS than Justin Falk. But on the Vegas side, Pietrangelo, if you're coming down to a one-off and you can't afford Yossi and you feel weird leaving salary on the table to go down to Werenski, I think is fine. He's going to play a ton of minutes. I'm a Ben Hutton stan. I don't know what his minutes are like. I just wanted to say Ben Hutton. So I don't mind Dylan Coghlan or Zach Whitecloud. So got the dog crying at my feet.
Yeah, no, they're just Ben Hutton fans. That's fine.
Yeah, we're Ben Hutton fans.
Yeah. All right. I think that's good on this game. You want to talk about Leonard or Binnington before we get out?
Binnington at 7,900 is fine in a correlated stack. I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to one off Jordan Binnington. Robin Leonard is interesting to me. 7,500 on the road. He's going to see, in theory, he should see a lot of volume with, the way this Vegas team is constituted. So I don't mind Leonard as a one-off, especially if you can guarantee me he's going to see 30 plus shots. Like I like Leonard, but
I guarantee you he's going to see 30 plus shots.
There you go.
I'm not even kidding. Like I think Leonard, I just, raved about St. Louis, like their offense here, and it is a pretty low total. So it's not like, it's not Philip Gustafsson. We'll get to it in a bit, like with a 4 total against him. This is a 3 total against him. Leonard's really awesome. He's low owned. And going to see probably a lot of volume. So,
but, talking up a team that he's playing against is more reason to play him in GPPs,
100%.
See the volume. Yeah,
100%. So he's my favorite one-off goalie for the night. Like I play a pretty spread out approach. So I'm going to have a lot of St. Louis. And I'm going to have a lot of Leonard and hope get an outlier performance one way or the other. All right, let's go to the Ducks and the Preds. We've got a 2.4 implied total for Anaheim, 3 for Nashville. John Gibson expected to go against UC Saros. Nashville one time tonight, Josh. We running it back?
Yeah, I have to just say that, I forgot that McDavid Jr.'s on the slate. Troy Terry, 5,300. Dude scored like in every game this season. Like that cannot continue. He's shooting like 40%. But yeah, I do like Nashville one tonight. I don't like Luke Cunnin. Now that I just said that, I locked in a multi-point game for him. But for me, what I'm going to do is bring up Eli Tolvanen for 2,800. Helps me fit in Yossi, get the 4-man power play exposure, lock and load. Might be Gibson. I love Gibson. Sorry, I'm in on Nashville tonight. Nashville won at least. If you want to, put in Luke Cunnin, that's perfectly fine. He's 3,400. He's not going to kill you. You know what I mean? But for me, I like to get the power play exposure. Tolvanen is less expensive. Helps me fit in Yossi. If you want to play Johansson, he's under 4K now. Like that second line is super cheap and they're getting 2-3%, right? So like when Ryan Johansson's 5,100, it's an absolute no for me. But he's coming in under 4K. Tolvanen's 2,800. Tomasino's min price. He's getting power play time. Johansson, Tolvanen getting power play 1. There, you take some pieces off there for some power play exposure to help fit in some power play stacks. I can live with it. It makes me want to vomit a little bit, but like in GPPs at 3,900, Johansson can, rob Thomas's way to 2 assists and be fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean,
and then on the Duck side, like not much there. What does interest me a little bit, like Zegras and Milano have been playing well together. What bothers me is Dinosauritis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm gonna call it Dinosaur Delasoria or whatever. He does nothing for me there. Like if Silfverberg was there, I'd really like that line. But Zegras, Milano coming in under 1% owned, both on the top power play. They've had, in their small sample, they played very well together. So I don't mind that too, man. If you want to go to the Getzlaff, Terry, Henrique line, that's fine. Like I feel bad. Like it feels bad trying to hop on the Troy and Terry train now when he has a 16-game point streak. Like it's gonna come to an end at some point. Like I feel like I'm just chasing if I'm putting in that line.
Yeah, it's not like he's shooting a ton or anything. Like I feel like I never get to Anaheim 1 when they're popular. And I don't think I'm going to get to them here with a 2.4 implied total. I don't begrudge anybody for getting to Anaheim 1 here, but I like the Zegras Milano 2-man. Their numbers at 5-on-5 with Delorier. I think Delorier is the name.
It's Delorier. I know how to say it. I like calling him Dinosauritis because that's what he is. He's a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's not a top 6 player. He might not even be a bottom 6 player, but yeah, I mean, Zegras Milano 2-man is fine at no ownership. That's something I've got a little bit of interest in. And then it's just Nashville 1 pretty much or nothing in this game. Nashville 1, Yossi, or probably nothing. Maybe some Ekholm one-offs at 3,500. He doesn't go great with any line here. Got any interest in this third line for Nashville? They put back the GOAT, Tanner Jeanette, on line 3 with Sissons and Trennan. Min salary guys. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Like it actually feels a little better than putting them in than Johansson, but you don't get the power play exposure. But if you're trying to jam in Colorado power play to get different, you're gonna have to do something different. You know what I mean? Put in a Trennan, put in the Sissons, put in, like putting in Tolvanen is going to be obvious. Tolvanen and Tomasino. So like, if you're worried about being duped, like I don't, unless I'm going cookie cutter 4-3-1, I don't worry about being duped. But if you're worried about being duped, like you can drop down to that third line.
Yeah, and that's all it's for. I mean, a couple percent of them is probably what I'm going to end up with, just at home in a pretty good matchup against a team with not the greatest depth. I think we're good on that one. I don't have much else to talk about. Anything else?
I will say Hampus Lindholm, top power play, 3,400 as a decent one-off. Not that the Ducks power play is, vaunted, but Lindholm does block some shots too. At 3,400, you definitely do worse for a one-off.
Would agree there. If you guys haven't heard yet, I don't know how you would not have heard this for the last 2 months, but we have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NHL season. They're the sponsor of the show. They've been very good to us, and they're going to be very good to you. If you haven't signed up for Yahoo just yet, if you use the link in the description of this show, you can get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. That's everything on the site for free for a month. And all you need to do is just click the link below, deposit, and play. It's really just that simple. Yahoo is going to send us your name after you play in the first paid contest, and then we'll reach out to you with your coupon for your free month. It's really, really simple. Yahoo is also just a great place to play in general. I was raving about their football contest. I will do that every time. This is a NHL show, obviously, but they've got the best football DFS by far. Like they're running out, like they're giving away money. Yep. It's not that easy necessarily, but there's no better place to play right now than Yahoo if you're trying to build a bankroll, or if you're just trying to make a couple $1,000s for the year, which is what I'm trying to do, playing NHL over there every night. So if you're looking to play NHL, the one difference is the plus minus. Well, and there's 2 goalies, so some of our buddies won't like the 2 goalie plays as much, but us GPP bros love the 2 goalies over there. Plus minus is a nice little wrinkle. FanDuel used to do it. They do not do that anymore. Yahoo has brought that back into the NHL DFS streets, and it's been fun. So just don't stack against your players. If don't stack guys in the same game if you can avoid it. That'd be my one piece of advice for NHL over on Yahoo. But they've got guaranteed overlay. They've got 12% management fees or less on Yahoo when they're not running these amazing promotional contests. And we've got tools for a lot of the sports for them, especially NFL. They've got a single game format. Yahoo just does it all. And you get a free month for signing up there. So I don't know why wouldn't you do that? I don't even know why we do this read anymore, Josh. Like, everybody should have taken advantage of this if they haven't yet. Unless you just hate watch us, which, I can appreciate that. But
yeah, like Bobby Boom just comes in to see Jake's hair and then just hates on me. So
yeah,
Bobby
I saw him chatting at 3 a.m. the day before a show.
In 3 a.m.
I haven't heard him. I haven't heard from him yet in the Slack, and in the YouTube chat. I mean, and I would definitely see him in chat with all caps. So,
yeah.
Boom, if you're out there, what's up, man? Pittsburgh, Winnipeg, my favorite game of the night. 2.7 implied total for the Penguins, 2.8 for the Jets. Tristan Jarry and Connor Hellebuyck are your goalies. I'm a Pitt 1 guy always, and I hate the Jets. Like, I just can't stand them for DFS. They burn me time and time again. Not as much as the Blackhawks, but no Blackhawks on the slate tonight. I love Pitt 1 as a line. You're seeing low ownership on the Pitt side, and you're seeing high ownership on the Winnipeg side. But I'm all over the Jets here. I'll let you go first, though, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, in our current ownership projections, we have Pitt 1 at 3% on a 6-gamer. And if you watch Pittsburgh game, you can tell Crosby's not 100% back yet. But it's still Crosby. Even 80% Crosby is probably going to be the best player on the ice tonight. Secondly, they're 3%. Thirdly, they fully correlate. Fourthly, is that even the right word? It's a very good special teams matchup for them. Winnipeg's penalty kill is terrible. So if, even if they only get 3-4 power plays, they can cash in. So normally I'm a Pitt 1 hater because they're always over-owned. You get the negative correlation on them, and they're, but they're not super expensive. They're fully correlated, very low owned, in a good power play spot. So, man, in GPPs, it's going to be hard for me to get away from them. If you want to go to Zucker, Carter, Kapanen, they're higher owned. So, if you're going to go to Pitt, why would you play higher owned Carter, Zucker, Kapanen when you can get lower owned Crosby, Russ, Gensel? So I think it's going to be a Pitt 1 or bust for me on the Pittsburgh side. On the Jets side, I want the line that's going to go against Carter, Zucker, Kapanen. So Pittsburgh's been pretty good defensively this year, but as Cliffy so aptly noted a few shows ago, Jeff Carter's defensive impacts have really, taken a hit this season. And in almost a 70-minute sample with Zucker, Carter, Kapanen, they only have a 46% shot share. They're giving up 11 high danger chances and have 2.5 expected goals against. So if you're going to attack Pittsburgh, that's the line. And I would imagine Scheifele, Ehlers, Kopp is going to be that line that sees most of them. I think they're going to send Connor Dubois, Wheeler out against Crosby. So if you're not a huge Scheifele guy anymore, 6,500 power play 1, Kopp and Ehlers are on quote unquote second power play unit. They kind of split time. So if you want to go Kopp, Ehlers with, Pionk, I think that is perfectly acceptable. You want a full stack, that's fine. If you want to go to Winnipeg, Dubois, Wheeler, Connor line going against Crosby, I think, because they're fully correlated, you don't really want to X out a fully correlated line on a medium-sized slate. So I think you can get there in MME. 1 to 3, I would take some pause going into Crosby. So for me on Winnipeg, it's going to be that second line, or in the lineup builder, it's the top line, Scheifele, Kopp, Ehlers, going into that Carter matchup. So I like both top lines tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Pitt ownership. The ownership on Pitt 1, anytime you can play Crosby that low of ownership, I understand it. If you want to play 10% of Pitt 1, which is, I'd like the idea of getting the 10% Pitt 1 and MME and being over on them. The problem is just they haven't been very good so far. That's not to say that they're not going to be good here. They had a good game against Toronto, but the matchup kind of stinks against Connor, Dubois, and Wheeler. They've figured something out with that trio so far. They've just been running over everybody, not only playing well offensively, but not allowing anything defensively. So it's not to say that the Pitt one couldn't get there tonight. You mentioned the power play matchup. That's certainly an avenue for success for them. But yeah, the Scheifele, Kopp, Ehlers trio is one of my favorite lines tonight. Probably my favorite full line. I'm a big Andrew Kopp guy. Like, I'm always playing this guy. Every time he gets a chance, like the numbers for the lines that he plays on are seemingly always good, except for like that Appleton Lowry thing that they had going on last year for a long time.
I don't know what that was about, but
when he's played top 6 minutes, he's almost always done well, it seems like. And this line's been really good. And you mentioned the matchup against Carter, Zucker, and Kapanen, which has been very giving in their own end so far. So I love Winnipeg one here, the Scheifele line. You can stack them with either defenseman. They go a little bit better with Pionk since Ehlers and Kopp are on that second power play. It's going to be somewhat split, but it looks like they've kind of stacked up their favorite power play one guys, although it's Dubois in there and not Ehlers. So that kind of stinks, but Pionk or Schmidt or Morrissey, I think are all fine add-ons. From one-offing guys, or, another thing I'm going to do is Ehlers and Kopp, just the Ehlers Kopp two-man, might be able to get a multi-goal game out of one of those guys. And I think the stack, or those two guys, could be really good without Scheifele getting involved as much, doesn't shoot as much as the other two. So that's another way to differentiate. But there's a lot of ways to stack up on Winnipeg. I'm just gravitating towards this Scheifele line. Anything else you want to mention here? Goalies, cheap defensemen, anything?
I wouldn't run off Letang. I think I would save him for correlated stacks. Mike Matheson, 2,700. I don't mind. Tristan Yari, I'm not a fan of. Connor Hellebuck, 7,800. Correlated one-off. I think it's fine, especially because the special teams for Winnipeg aren't great. So if Hellebuck stands on his head, he's going to see some volume and get the win.
All right, let's go to Ottawa and Colorado. We've got a 2.2 implied total for the Sens, 3.9 for the Avalanche. Philip Gustafsson and Darcy Kemper are expected to go. Same top 6 for Colorado that they've ran out the last few games. No real changes that I'm seeing there right now. Norris, Tkachuk, and Stützle for this Ottawa top line. I swear they had played together at some point over the last couple of years, but I haven't found a sample, at least over a 20-minute sample, when this trio's played. I could have been, it could be misremembering this, either. Yeah, I swear Tkachuk and Stützle played together, but apparently they have not. But they're fully correlated on top power play. Where are you going with this one, Josh? I mean, actually, let me phrase it like this. Is there anything on the Ottawa side that you're interested in here?
I don't know, because Ottawa had all those COVID guys. They had the last 3-4 games off. They have all these guys coming back off the list. And when you're on the COVID list, you can't skate, you can't do any of this. So there is going to just be, it could be a clown show tonight. Like, you just don't know, like, they're not a great team to begin with. And you're getting all these guys who haven't skated in over a week, like, back on the ice. It could be just an absolute mess. Now, that being said, in GPPs, I'll take a stab on that top line. It's fully correlated, 5%. Norris, Tkachuk, good together. Stützle, not overly expensive. So I'll take some chances on that top line. I don't know, 2.2 total on the road, that doesn't scream, let's go all in on in GPPs, but, I'll take a little bit of Ottawa one, but, like, other than that, like, Ottawa's a big mess. And I'm not sure what I want to do with Colorado. They have a huge total, but they're missing McKinnon. You got Logan O'Connor still on the top line, who hasn't done anything the past 2 games. Kadri's almost up to 7K. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, if you want a power play stack, the Avs, I think that's perfectly fine. It's just really, really expensive. And, Mikko Rantanen at center at 8,500 without McKinnon, like, it worries me a little bit. I don't know if this is the game to worry, because they can just come in and just absolutely just steamroll the Sens tonight. Like, the planets are aligning here. So I think like, man, as a full line, I think I'm going to go to the second line, Nishushkin, Kadri, Burakovsky, because you get two guys on the top power play unit. Nishushkin's 3,700. He's not going to kill you. He's a good player. You know, I like the savings off Logan O'Connor, who doesn't see any power play time. So I think for a full stack, I will go to Colorado too. I don't mind going like Rantanen, Landeskog. It's expensive. You can go, power play stack. That's fine. I think if you're going to go Mikko Landeskog instead of like O'Connor, you can put him Cale Makar. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta like. I wish they moved up somebody onto that top line who saw even secondary power play time. It's just so hard to full stack here. I think you take bits and pieces or you power play stack. I think that's how I'm going to handle it.
Yeah. Just continuing with Colorado in terms of what I'm doing here. Like, I don't feel great about Colorado here just because of the ownership. Like, obviously if they're low owned, then yeah, I'm going to play a bunch of them because who knows? Like, there's just a lot of unknowns here. Like Rantanen at center, no McKinnon. They're missing Byram. They're missing another one of their defensemen, I think. But the numbers just haven't been great for these Colorado top two lines, which is worrying me. It's a small sample, but it's not like they're just running these teams out of the building at 5-on-5. And they've scored a bunch of goals their last two games. So, you can make the argument maybe they didn't need to generate a ton of scoring chances if you're going to put up 7 goals and, 3 power play goals type of thing. The matchup is really good. I'm just not quite bought into, especially this Logan O'Connor experiment on the top line. So
Landeskog 7,600. No McKinnon. Like Landeskog on his own with Rantanen. I don't know. Like I'm just not buying into it with the ownership and the prices.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but Rantanen just projects so well. I mean, on a raw point basis. You just project so well that I'm just going to get to a bunch of them, especially if like he's just going to be my one, or it's going to be a Rantanen Landeskog 2-man if I'm not doing full stack. So I'm in love with O'Connor up there, but I'm going to have my fair share of Colorado. I just think if I was a little ballsier, I might look to fade it. Like if I was making one lineup tonight, I'd rather go to some of the lines we've talked about already, and one that we're going to talk about in the final game, like St. Louis 2, Winnipeg 1.
I'm leaning towards fading Colorado tonight in my one GPP lineup. I haven't made the final decisions yet, but I don't know. It's looking like I'm going to fade.
Yeah. So luckily I'm not doing one lineup, so I don't have to take ownership.
And even in cash, like what do you do with the Avs tonight? You know what I mean? Like
I think you got to Rantanen.
Yeah.
Right. And then Burakovsky. I don't know. I'm not a cash guy, but
this game's a mess. Like
it's a 4 total. So you want to play Colorado, if you want to go all in on them, like I think I'm going to end up with a couple Josh stacks of Colorado because it's a ridiculously high total. And yes, there's a lot of unknowns on the Colorado side. There's a ton of unknowns on Ottawa coming back from like half their players having COVID and who knows. But I think I'm going to be over on Ottawa 1, especially. And that's really about it outside of Shabbat, who's 6,300, probably going to play 30 minutes per usual. And,
our main man Cliffy dropping the knowledge. He says in 250 minutes without McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen's expected goals per 60 fall 20%. That's a big drop off. That's like falling out of the third story window and expecting to land on your feet.
Yeah. I mean, going from amazing to just okay against the Senators with a 4 total, like you're still going to be all right. They play this game a ton of times, but I get what he's saying. Like what he's saying makes perfect sense. So, just not in love with Colorado. I guess I'd rather slam the 2.6 implied total Sharks and the 2.9 implied total Winnipeg Jets. So I'm just a sick person. Josh,
4 total against the Sens. So
have you been getting some sleep lately? Or are you just worried about getting into the Awesemo Hall of Fame here?
You see these bags? I look like a raccoon, man. I haven't been able to sleep because I had a couple close calls for the Hall of Fame. I forgot to switch my Avi. I missed it because of that. Now I have the Awesemo Avi, so I'm ready to get in the Hall of Fame. I just want to be let in, but I have not gotten there yet.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. I'm trying to get in as well. I might have had a lineup that qualified, but again, just didn't switch the avatar. Certainly haven't had a lineup that's qualified over the last week. Boy, it has been a rough one. But if you guys have had good nights and you're interested in getting a free month, you guys like free stuff, or you tend to like free stuff, you can become a part of the Awesemo Hall of Fame. We'll shout you out on Twitter. All you got to do is download the Awesemo avatar from awesemo.com/avatar, place in the top 3 of a contest with 5,000 plus contestants. Tweet the win to us at the Awesemo HOF account. That's at Awesemo HOF. And you can win a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Let's look at a couple winners we've had so far. Jordan Lockhart, this guy's won everything. NFL, NBA, seen him in chat a bunch of times with huge super chats. Seems like a very good guy. Took down another 25K the other night. We've got another user winning, wow, after a couple $100, it looks like, winning 25K. Congrats to him. And $750 win from Madloff. That looks like it's NFL and a 20 max. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to take down 100K. You can win a couple $100. You just got to follow the top 3 with 5,000 plus contestants. So if you're playing the nickel, playing the quarter in NFL or in NHL, you can qualify for this. All you got to do is have the avatar like the guys in these pictures. Another user took down $100 in a winner take all. That's a pretty good ROI. Do you play those winner take alls at all?
I haven't recently. I did dabble in them a little bit. I might need to start reconsidering that.
I think they're really good, especially if you can play at the lower stakes. So I used to play a lot of the 25-cent ones a couple of years ago, and I should be doing that on some of the other sites. But anyways, I would suggest playing those, and you can win a free month on top of the $100 or whatever the winner take all is. And then our final user, J187, looks like he split showdown last night with Eckler captain. And I didn't watch a second of that game, but it looks like J187 was pretty heavily invested and earned himself a free month, him or herself. Don't want to forget about the ladies here at Awesemo.com. Final game of the night, Josh. We've got the Carolina Hurricanes and San Jose Sharks. We've got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Freddie Anderson, James Reimer. Those are your expected goalies. Balser is up on the top line. No Jonathan Dahlen tonight. My boy is not playing, but it looks like no serious injury. And kind of ugly outside of the Sharks top line for me. Is this a Carolina game for you?
Yeah, so Couture Meyer is an interesting 2-man for me. They have very good numbers together, but when you throw Balsers into the mix, like their numbers in an hour sample aren't great. They have a 43% shot share. They're pretty high event. Now, they're probably going to get Aho Svechnikov, and, on paper, that's a tough matchup. You throw Jarvis into the mix, and both these lines become pretty high event. So I think you can get to some Sharks one tonight. I think that's perfectly fine. They're both, the Sharks top line's fully correlated. Carolina, Aho Svechnikov, power play 1, Jarvis, power play 2. So I think there's both of these top lines are in play for me. Moving down the lineup, I think, Carolina 2 definitely favors over San Jose 2. You want to get some people on San Jose 2, that's fine. I heard some Noah Gregor talk in cash. He did, he played 20 minutes the other night, had 5 shots on goal. So from that perspective, I get it. But in GPPs, I think I would go to Carolina 2. I mean, even you want to take some pieces of Carolina 3 going against, Weatherby, Matt Nieto, Kevin LeBanc. I think that's perfectly fine if you're trying to jam in Colorado. You do like a Stahl Niederreiter 2-man. That's only $6K for the 2 of them. They get some power play 2 time. You get a very soft matchup. So I don't mind taking some pieces off Carolina 3, but Carolina top 6 definitely in play for me. And, I'll have a little bit of Sharks 1 and MME.
I really like Sharks 1. I like the ownership under 10%. Wish Dawn was up there, but fully correlated. I'm just a big Timo Meyer guy. So kind of like what I was saying with Tarasenko for the Blues. That's how I feel about Timo tonight. So a lot of my Sharks exposure is going to come through him. Don't hate like a Hurdle Gregor 2-man. Barabanov, like this guy just doesn't shoot at all. So he's another one of those Robert Thomas types. Like I think Hurdle is an awesome player. Maybe you can one off him at 4,600, but I'd rather go 2-man with Hurdle Gregor. Carolina 1's probably my favorite Carolina line. But I think the third line's also like really good numbers for them at 5-on-5. They all get secondary power play time. Actually, I didn't even notice that Netchus was down on that third line. So they swapped.
I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not. Like, okay. I saw conflicting reports. That's why I didn't mention it, because I'm not sure.
Okay. And then Scott Reedy expected to make his debut for the Sharks. I just saw that while we were on the show. Going to get to some burns with my Sharks 1, but he's not up in the Yossi tier and the Pietrangelo tier for me tonight. Anything else on the blue line, then feel free to give your hat trick pick. Then feel free to give a favorite goalie pick.
I will say Burns has looked better this year than he has last year. He's still not the player he was a few years ago, but he does look a little bit better. Defenseman in this game, Tony D, priced way up to 6,200. That's a wild price for our pal Tony D. So I think I'd go to Brett Pesce, Brady Shea. So for me, my hat trick pick, let's see. I'm gonna go, man. It's gonna make me have a tear come down my eye, but I'm going Pavel Buchnevich.
Okay, mine's Tarasenko. So we're on the same wavelength there. Maybe they'll both do it, and Robert Thomas can get 1 assist with -2 shots on goal or something like that. Goalie pick, my favorite guy is probably Leonard. So I'm kind of hedging my bets there. But anything else?
Leonard, definitely. If you're not using the Blues there, Gibson, if you're not using the Preds, I think, like, if you want to spend up, I think I'm going to go back to Saros. It does worry me a little bit because, like I said in Discord, I have no statistics to back this up, but he's short for NHL goalie. And if his positioning's like a little bit off, he's going to get lit up, but I don't mind going back to Yossi for a rebound game.
All right. We've got Yahoo NFL live show coming on in just a few minutes. Stick around if you're playing a single game tonight. Subscribe, like the channel, do all that good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Cliffy and Josh will be back for the marathon slate on Wednesday. See you then.